Our finances have drastically changed, obviously, since I worked in retail to where we are today. Buying was always a dream of mine. I always wanted to be a buyer. I wanted to be that New York City girl, picking out the apparel for the future season. When I graduated from college, I started working for Target just as a guest experience executive to build up my retail experience. And then Macy's reached out to me via LinkedIn to work at their Herald Square store. I pitched if anything would be available in retail buying, and they had an entry-level position, and the rest was history. And I was there for a few years until I was promoted to an associate buyer, and then I left shortly after I had my son. If you had a good fashion sense, it wasn't enough. You had to be smart, you had to be savvy, you had to know how to manage your money, and had to bring those two worlds together. That's why I love the job, and that's what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But after a few years, I yearned back to the restaurant business. I was born into this industry. My father came here from Israel when he was 18 years old and was a student at Montclair State and was always a busboy and in the restaurant business. And after a while of working at restaurants, he decided to pursue it as a life career. So he started opening up delis and convenience stores. Once we became of age, which was 10 years old, we all would help out, my brothers and I. Ultimately, I knew I wanted to open up my own restaurant in the future, but I wanted to prove to myself that I can excel in something other than the restaurant business. I had a 1-year-old when I signed the lease here, and not a lot of people were excited about me opening up my own business with such a young baby. We had a lot of mishaps along the way of business people not taking me seriously with my kid in my arm and me trying to get a lease at a restaurant and do all these business transactions. But the people that didn't take me seriously then, it just was not meant to be. It was God's way of telling me these aren't the right people to be dealing with. Find a new way. And that's what I did. My husband was a principal at a charter school in Newark. I was a buyer and worked in restaurants previously, and we were really good about saving our money. We had a little bit of cash that we had saved up, so enough to get us off the ground and get us started. And then we teamed up with local banks and got our loans that we needed. As the project kept progressing, we had owned a 2-family in Newark at the time, so we were able to refinance and get money out of there to finish off the project. So between the loans and our savings and the 2-family liquidation, we really were able to pull it all together. We took 2 spaces and made it 1. They weren't in good condition, but I was like, previous renovations from our other family businesses were around $150,000 to $175,000. That's what I was striving to spend. All in, we ended up spending closer to $500,000. When you build a business 10 years ago, the prices of things dramatically changed. And then there was a lot more equipment that was outfitting this space. And very pricey equipment like espresso machines to specialized ovens, and then just crafted handmade tables and chairs and nice flooring. 3/4 of the way through our project, we had a litigation between the landlords and us about the hood installation. Opening day was super exciting. I mean, it was a 1.5 years in the making. And I remember the second we opened the door, we had a mob of people just come in, and we were not ready. I mean, we were ready for a medium volume day. New restaurant opening, we did not advertise it very much, but people were very excited for this new thing happening in town. I was in the kitchen teaching the cooks how to make all the dishes. My husband was front of house, so he was doing customer experiences, registered transactions, and training the baristas and whatever they had to do. That first week was chaos. I mean, working all day, cleaning up all night, preparing the next morning with baked goods. We didn't have the team then that we had now. I remember on our first day, we had this dishwasher that we were training for weeks prior to us opening, and she quit on the first day. Ironically, she works for us again now. And she's amazing. It was just too much. We started opening day really strong, but by the weekend, business had tripled. My husband was amazing at what he did. Initially, it was only supposed to be a 2-week leave from work. But I think once we saw the volume that was coming through the store, and I honestly could not do it by myself. Second or third day of opening, and I looked at him like this long, exaggerated stare, because I could not get myself to say it, you know? And he just looked at me and he's like, I know. I get chills thinking about it now. He was like, I know. I was like, I'm so sorry, because I know I'm getting emotional thinking about it. But he left everything for me, so I'm always thankful for him. Sorry.
Kitchen comes in at 6. I'm here between 6:15, 6:35, and then leave about 4:30 is like an amazing day. 5:30 standard, 6:30 definitely like Friday, Saturday is just a lot to do. This was very stressful for me at first. Still have your moments, but I think I've learned a lot, and you sort of like understand how to do things efficiently, effectively.
Our finances have drastically changed, obviously, since I worked in retail to where we are today. A lot of people see a really busy restaurant and they think these people are doing amazing, like they must be bringing in bank. But the expenses in a restaurant business, the overhead is insane. From payroll to goods, and the price of goods has increased drastically since the beginning of COVID. Everything was skyrocketing, and we still made out well. We live very comfortably. We live in a way where I can create and do whatever I would like and not have to always worry about how we're going to pay our mortgage. And for me, that was my goal. Jackie & Son has grown significantly since the beginning. It ranges from 25 to 30 employees on our payroll. And then for Jake and Daughters, we're gonna need probably like 2 to 3 bakers and then 4 front of house people to really get the goods moving and boxed and have the day-to-day operation run. What really forced me to transition was when I had all my kids. We had Santino, it was just one baby, but when I had Gabriella and then I had my second son, and now the 4th child, I knew that in order for me to be happy, and why I opened up Jackie & Son was to be happy and create a work-life balance. I brought 4 amazing children into this world. I want to enjoy them too. My husband leaving his job and being able to support me and really taking on 90% of the business now. I was able to really step back. And if mistakes were made, mistakes are meant to be made. You're never going to run a perfect restaurant. It's just not going to happen. And I'm okay with making mistakes where I wasn't before. I'm so thankful of all the steps I took along the way to where I am now. I'm not at my final destination. I still want to strive forward and do more amazing things. But I can honestly say I'm so proud of myself for taking the risks, believing in myself, and just going after what I'm passionate about and bringing it to life.